everyone. Hi, Susie. We're waiting for Lisa to join us. Tonight is going to be a good night for you, Susie. Thank you for joining. It will be lots of fun. Getting to know all about mortgages and what she has done. So I hope you enjoy it. Hi, Dr. Susie. Waiting for, she sent me a note she was ready, but I haven't seen her coming on yet, so maybe she will find out. I'm having a cup of holy basil, sleepy time tea. Oh, hi. Hi, Lisa. You need to join. Lisa, I sent you something to tell you. Okay, great. Hello.
Hi.
Some tea. Hold on. Casting my head. So this is just not going to be fun tonight. He's not showing me my head. I have to go further back. Oh, no.
I thought I saw your hair.
Me too. See?
Oh,
I'm not seeing my head. I have to maybe fix this thing. I'll change it to this one. Sorry, guys.
I like your chair.
I like my chair too. I'll put it on here. This might be a little bit better. So let's see if it's any better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's much better.
That's much better. So hello everybody. Hi, Fushan. Which is having fun. Everybody's here tonight. Hi, Dawn. How are you? So everyone, Susie's here. Dawn came. And here we go. So what I'm trying to do tonight, Lisa is someone that I can tell you guys a little bit about. So Lisa has been with me. I've been coaching her on financial health. Well, we skip health. Her financial health is great now. So Lisa is on financial wealth. So her rhyme makes you cry. So she's on financial wealth. And for her financial wealth, she went through the health, fixing all her stuff, all her credit on her things, and her husband, her family. And now she has no debt except mortgage debt. So she's on her way to financial wealth.
Woohoo!
As you know, when you do financial wealth, you are in the you're at the point where you're leaving a legacy, where you're doing things that are a little bit to put money away. Because your house in North America is your single biggest purchase you'll ever make in your life. And you've done it. And that is where you begin to accumulate wealth. Is once you do your financial, you have your home, so you're starting to accumulate wealth. Before that, all these things you're doing, you're getting yourself in a financial, a healthy way.
Healthy, right.
Yeah, so that is what Lisa has done. So now, Lisa went through a long journey with me. How many years, Lisa?
So we met April 2012.
2012. So guys, it took us how many years? 12 to 20. So it's, can you see how many years it is?
Yeah.
8, 9 years this year, right?
It's been a little while.
Yeah, so but Lisa really got herself organized. Her family, she and her husband worked together with me. And they got their finances in order. They both have jobs, they both have stuff. And we just made sure they understood what it was like not to owe people money on your credit card. And once she captured that, Lisa goes on these fabulous holidays with her 4 of them, 2 children and herself. And you go to 2 vacations a year, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And they go to a resort. So they go to a really nice resort. Every year, they go twice a year. And the children all have their accounts for activities and stuff like that. So I don't see Lisa we used to meet every week, right?
Yeah, when we started, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't see Lisa every week. I don't see her every 2 weeks. I don't see her monthly. And I don't see her every 6 months. I now see Lisa once a year. And the reason why we meet once a year is to make sure that everything is working as it is supposed to be. There will be other times if Lisa had a big change in her financial situation. Let's say they got into some huge money and inheritance and stuff, then they would come. If there's a change in her job where she could go up in another thing and her husband the same, then they would come. But other than that, we see each other once a year now. And it's just to know what if they have any changes to plan, like next year or in another year, your daughter will be going to university.
This year. Well,
It is September, yeah.
yeah,
So
this year of high school.
yeah, so she's going to go to university, but you have an education plan for her already. So that is in place, so there's no worry. But we might meet maybe in July, August to look at the situation, how much money has to come out, what's going to happen. And then I advise Lisa to advise her to apply for scholarship and grants. There are tons of them in Canada that you can get.
There are, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you can get 10 of them for $500 each. Or sometimes that's $5,000, 5 different. Or you can get, and then you might get a grant, you get loans, but you get a lot of bursaries too. You
Yes.
might get one just for books and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing. So tonight though, I wanted to make sure we won't put Lisa's numbers out, but I want you guys to understand a few things about Lisa, and I want to make sure she's keeping track of it. So Lisa has her mortgage, and she's paying her mortgage bi-weekly, every 2 weeks, every other week.
Every other, yeah.
So bi-weekly is not every 2 weeks, it's every other week.
Yep.
Okay, so she's not paying it monthly. She's not paying it semi-monthly.
Semi-monthly, right.
So bi-weekly is where you have 26 pays in the year. So you pay your mortgage as you get your salary. Weekly is the same. So 26 times 2, we have 56 in the year. So when you pay your mortgage like that, instead of making 24 payments, which was made in the olden days, like maybe 25, 30 years ago, no, you're making 26 payments. So you're making one payment, 1 month's payment ahead. And that is the most important thing you can do. You're paying down your mortgage faster.
Yes.
So at the end of the year, instead of making 24 payments, you've made 26. And that brings the mortgage down very quickly.
Right.
So that was the first things you have to do. One of the mortgages I advocate for, if you have the income and the credit to get it, is a mortgage that's called a variable rate mortgage. We have a chat for the past 100 years. It's the mortgage that gives the consumer a better deal than the bank. The banks don't like to do those because they're not making money. So how I'm going to describe a mortgage in the old days was like this. When you got a mortgage, they would say it's front loaded. So it's like you being pregnant and or you're a woman and you're all in the front. So that means you're paying them interest for the first 10 to 15 years. All you're doing is giving the bank money. And that way you might pay $1,000 towards what you really owe them. All the payments you make every week or 2 weeks or monthly is going to them. Hi, Corinne, is going to them for their interest. So that's called front loaded. So when they say a fixed rate mortgage, they're telling you it's a front loaded mortgage. So when you look at the division, if you say you're paying $1,000, you have to pay a month. They'll tell you monthly first, but then they fix it for you how you want.
Right, right.
So you pay the monthly mortgage, and then they go maybe $700 for interest, $300 for principal, which is what you owe them. So it's not fair, right? So, but they have this other mortgage called a variable rate mortgage.
Yes, you always talk about that. Yeah.
So you tell me, you explain it because I want you to explain it as you understand it. What happens in a variable rate mortgage?
So the variable rate depends on, well, it has to do with the interest rate. So it can fluctuate. It could go up or down. If it goes down, I benefit because it means more of my payment goes towards my principal as opposed to the interest. If it goes up, then it's the opposite. I would be paying.
But your payment does not change.
Yes.
That's the division of the money changes. So when people are saying, oh, I don't want the prime mortgage, it will fluctuate and I'll have to pay more. No, you don't. Your term is for 5 years and the payment just shifts. Prime goes down, you're paying more to get rid of the debt. Prime goes up, a little more is going to the bank.
Right.
And That's a variable rate mortgage.
And it was you who explained that to me, because before I thought exactly what you said, that with the variable rate, my payments can change. But then you did explain that payment amount does not change, it's just the way that the
Hi,
payments are
Sherry.
distributed. Yeah, so that was helpful.
Okay. Now, when I first met you, you had a track mortgage, which is what we call the fixed rate one, right? With an exorbitant price.
I remember you said it was front loaded too. I remember those words from you. I was like, what is that?
It's
I
front
don't
loaded. It's like pregnancy. Everything is at the front.
at the front. Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
paying them interest for 15 years and you haven't really touched the principal. Whereas with the prime mortgage, it's a little bit easier, and because more can go to the principal and less can goes to them. So the bank does not make money off you as much as a
Right.
5-year fixed rate. So what you have to remember, people, explain that. Tell someone, if you were to tell someone what they should pay attention to when they go to the bank. Like the fixed rate, what does it mean?
So it has, well, for me, it would be the rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's fixed, well, I mean, I like variable only because you've said it so many times to me, and now I understand exactly what a variable rate is. So there's no way that a bank or somebody at the bank is going to convince me to sign a mortgage on a fixed rate, because then I don't see the benefit in me doing that.
Okay.
And especially now with the interest rates being so low, it's beneficial to be in a variable rate as opposed to a fixed rate, right? Because that's
So
helping my mortgage to go down as well.
mm-hmm. A variable rate is, you will hear when they say the prime rate drops or the prime rate is going
Mm-hmm.
down. That is the rate the government sets. Now, that rate doesn't affect any other credit product except a variable rate mortgage. It's the only mortgage that is tied to the prime rate. So your credit card won't change, but only the variable rate mortgage. The fixed mortgage stays the same for 5 years, and the money you pay to them is the same,
Years, right.
just like the variable rate mortgage, but the division is the same. It doesn't fluctuate like the prime rate mortgage. So that's the advantage of the prime versus the fixed rate mortgage. Hi, Yoko. Now, the other part of paying your debt, your mortgage down, is this. Besides paying your mortgage weekly or bi-weekly, it will take you longer. It will take you a long, long time. But as I said, I promise you guys strategies.
Right.
How to pay this mortgage down. That's the single biggest purchase you'll make in your life, is to buy a home. And you need to know your stuff. When you show up at the bank and they're telling you they want a fixed rate mortgage because it's better for the bank, and you need to tell them, no, I want a variable. Well, you know, prime fluctuate. They'll talk to you like
They
that.
do. Yeah, yeah.
And you have to say no, but I have had one, or I know about it. I understand them, and I'm going to stick to it. So what is the other lesson I taught you with your mortgage payment? So can you explain that? If not, I will take it over, but you should. I hope you remember.
I remember all your keywords. So you always say get rid of the tail.
But I put it in a common form. I'm sorry, but I try to do.
No, but I like those words because I remember them, right? It's your special way of teaching. But so that means, for example, if my mortgage payment is, I don't know, $100.52, for example.
No, give us a real mortgage payment. Go,
Right?
give us all the pence and units.
How about 1,000?
Don't use 1,000. And
Yeah.
just remember, you need to fix the tail.
Yeah. So 1,000 and
no. Okay. So I help you.
give me yeah.
Suppose your mortgage payment is never 1,000. It's $968.72.
Cents. Exactly. Okay.
That's what the bank tells you have to pay. So what do I say to you?
So you say get rid of the tail, so round it up to an even number. So instead of it having the cents at the end, it'll go to a dollar amount. So for example, if it was 968.
968.72.
Right. So then you'll round it up to 969.
Okay, you can.
Because, yeah.
Because what you want is to have zero. There is no interest calculated on a zero. So I would tell you, you missed that. You'd go to 968.72. I would say, well, Lisa, can you pay $970?
Right. So you'll go up to, yeah.
You go up to the zero.
Yeah.
Because if you calculate interest on zero, there's no interest. But if you calculate it on 20 cents, there's going to be 1 cent. The point is not to pay them more than you can. And
right.
everybody, when you have a mortgage, can afford to zero it. So if your payment is $765.40, you can say I'll say to you, can you pay $770? If it's $542, I'll say, well, can you bring it to $545? I know your circumstances at the time, and I will gingerly lead you. And then I will say, well, can you do $550? Because $550 means you're paying interest on a zero, and there's no interest on a zero.
Right.
No, the trick though, those $3 or $5 that you just added to your mortgage payment makes a difference of huge, huge, huge days and months and weeks.
Months, yeah.
I'll tell you how it's calculated. So you are paying, your mortgage was $575. You brought it to $600. Rather than pay them $575, you're paying them $600 every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So that $50 you're paying is going straight to the principal. What
right.
you owe, the original, it's going from that. So that amount now is every 2 weeks. So at the end of your term, what will happen as soon as you tell them to put that number in, right away the length of time it will take you to pay off your house decreases.
Right.
Right there. Right at the time you set it.
Okay.
So it will decrease. So if the bank says it will take you 20 years to pay and 5 months, you know, it's always years, right? All of a sudden, once you make that extra payment on your mortgage like this, you increase it from $550 to $575 or $575 to $600 right away. You might cut off months of your payment.
And I witnessed that.
Somebody, or you might cut off weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So one man said to me, but Tessa-Marie, you're only cutting off 6 weeks in a year. I said, but it's 6 weeks over 20 years of interest. Calculate that yourself. And it's not regular interest, it's compounded interest. It's interest on the interest on the interest on the interest. So when I did the math for him, and I said to him, that 6 weeks that it has cut your mortgage time to pay, repayment time by, is going to save you $20,000 over the length of your mortgage. He almost collapsed. He couldn't believe it. Just by shaving the end numbers, just by making zeros at the end of your mortgage payment. That's all it does, zeroing it down. And that brings it down. And you now have your house earlier.
Yeah.
Now, so that is important to do. You don't always, you cannot do $20, do $5. No matter what you can do, it's going to make a difference. It might not make a difference. If you do $5 and bring it from $575 to $580, you might say it's only $5. So you look at the value of $5 in two places in your financial health.
Mm-hmm.
$5 in your checking account has no value. Absolutely no value.
Yeah.
$5 on your mortgage has huge repercussion, huge value. So you experience that. What happened when you increased your payment by those small amounts?
Like you said, we witnessed years.
You witnessed years.
Yes,
different of years.
Mortgage went down by years. I don't remember now how much we added to it, but it probably was like at $5 or something.
Yeah.
Or I don't remember the exact amount, but it made a huge difference, and we were surprised.
Most people are surprised.
You first told me, and I came home, and I was saying it to Conrad, and he was like, "Really?" And then he called the bank, and we did it, and then we saw the difference, and we're like, "Whoa." This was like months. So we're always doing it. We're always checking the amounts to see. And if we can add $1 or whatever, $5 to it, we change it. And then we see right away, like you said,
right away,
difference.
And nowadays they allow you to do this on the computer at home. So
Yeah.
the minute you do it, you can see the difference right away.
Right
And
away.
that is important. It gives you a feeling of empowerment. I am in control of my finances.
Yeah.
So that is one strategy that I use a lot with all of you. I tell you that you should do it, and it works.
It works.
Now,
Yeah.
the other one I like is that the bank, there's this lady who's in my book club, and she has tons of money. And she said to me, oh, I told my children to save money and at the end of the year, make a lump sum payment. So I said to her, that's not good.
Oh, I'm
I
glad you.
said, there's no benefit to them. She said, why? I said, because while they're saving the money to make the lump sum, interest is being calculated on what they owe.
Wow.
She
Okay.
didn't figure that out. I said, what you have to tell them, whatever money they can pay, they can save towards that mortgage, put it on now. Make the difference now. Rather than wait for a whole year. The bank gives you that option. But that you can use if your mother or father gives you a gift of $5,000 at the end of the year, or you get an inheritance. Then you can put the $5,000 down.
Okay.
But it's useless and it's silly to save money to pay down a mortgage at the end of the year when you can take that amount of money you're saving every penny and pay it down right now.
Right.
So
Exactly.
all you do, you increase your payment. So these are the things. The bank gives you the option. You can, if your mortgage payment is $500 and you can afford to double it, the bank has the rule that you can double it to $1,000. If something happens when you double the mortgage payment and the bank and you have a little hiccup in your finances, you go to them and say, can you just bring it back to the original amount?
Oh, so they allow you to do that.
You
Oh,
can't do that. It's not what the extra you're doing, it's really not in their favor, right? Because now you're paying the mortgage faster.
they're making
They
less
want
money.
you to take longer because they make more money off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing you have to remember, that when you're paying your mortgage down, if you have extra money, you put it down right away. You increase your mortgage payment by that extra money. If
Okay.
you get a raise and they give you a 2% raise, you don't get more than 1.5 or 2% raise these days. That money that you are saving in or keeping and putting it in your checking account, as I said to you, is like taking feathers and putting it in a pack and expect to come back and find all the feathers. Your checking account is like a sieve. Everything that goes in it runs out and it runs away from you.
Oh,
So if when you get
yes.
your raise, it's $7, that $7 will serve you much better to use it to pay off your mortgage payment. Add it to the payment. It will make a huge difference by years, because it's 25 years to pay off a mortgage,
Right.
unless you work it like you're just working it to death. And every penny counts on a mortgage payment. Don't waste the money in a checking account. If your raise is $2, honest, I said it to my dentist. He was asking me about mortgages. And I said, doctor, our money is something that has to be honest. If you don't harness your money, it will run like
Right.
a wild horse. You have to just grab it, put a rein on it, and control it. So when I explained that to him, he repeated it, and I knew it resonated with him because he said, money has to be honest. I said, yeah. So whenever I go, he wants me to answer questions while his hand is in my mouth. So I go with a pad and I reply to these answers there. But anyway, so let's go to another strategy for saving money in paying down your mortgage. So we did having a variable rate mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
We did zeroing the amount of the payment. We did increasing the payment by small bits if you were, as soon as you get a raise. Our fourth one was where we took whatever money we have and we figure, rather than save it to make annual payment, increase the mortgage by that $25 a week you were saving for mortgage, put it in there. Now, there's another thing that is interesting. So you can see your mortgage payment on your profile when you open your computer. You're looking at it.
Yes.
And if you're looking at your mortgage payment and the amount, not the payment, the amount you owe is a number like that. So let's say you bought a house for 400,000 and right now you owe 296,486 dollars and cents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I ask you guys to do, that $86.42, if every month when you look at your mortgage, the 10, the units, and the cents. So don't, the big figures you cannot attempt to kill, okay? So you cannot go after the thousands because you don't have it. You
Yes.
might be able to go after the hundreds to put 300 on. So the thing is that you nibble at the mortgage. So the four last numbers, you try to knock them off every month. The four last numbers. So two numbers, the decimal point and the cents. So the tens and the units, right?
Tens, right, right.
So you don't touch the hundreds. But what happens is that the bank allows you to make that payment in increments of you must pay, the minimum is 100. You cannot pay $86.42.
Yes, yes.
But you can pay $100. Or you can pay $186.42. So what I ask all of the people that I coach on financial health, like mortgage, you get into mortgage, you're in wealth, on their financial wealth, I tell them, look at the last four numbers. So if it is $96.42, you have to pay 100. But if you happen to have $192.42, you can do that also.
Right.
The moment you do that, right there on your computer, on your home computer, it will tell you you have just decreased your amortization. Amortization, I need to explain that word too. Amortization is how long it will take you to pay off your mortgage.
Right.
Not the term. There are two things. You have a 5-year term within a 20-year period.
Right.
That 20-year is called an amortization. So you try to knock those last four numbers down. Each time you do that, you decrease the length of time to pay them back. The reason why I am so passionate about paying off your mortgage, when you get that mortgage payment behind you, the freedom, think of you paying $1,800, $1,900 a month in payments. And all of a sudden, you have that money to do whatever you want.
I taste it.
You can taste it. It's a financial freedom. You can buy a house on rent. You can buy another. You can put that money towards a condo and rent it out. You can put it towards another purchase of something that will bring you money while you sleep. You know, you can now go and invest with a broker, a reputable broker that will be happy to serve you. Yeah. So that's why I said the first thing you have to do is pay off your home. Don't let anybody tell you anything else. That house you live in should be free and clear. The only property that you should not force in Canada to pay off is your rental property or a property that is tied to your business that you can expense it.
Right.
If you have a rental property, you can expense the interest. That is a different kettle of tea. So, but your home, the freedom to turn that key in the lock and walk in, man, it is like juice. It's like nectar from heaven. You put that key in the door and you open it and you know it's mine. The bank does not have any authority on it anymore. So when you get that mortgage, you need to chew on it. And you chew little bits. I am not telling you to go and try to get money by the hundreds and pay it off. That is not the point. The satisfaction comes from the work you do towards bringing it down bit by bit by bit. That is what matters. Right. It's like a rainstorm. When it's raining heavy, the rain does not do anything for the soil. It washes it off. But the constant sudden drizzle that just soaks it and soaks it and soaks it, that makes that land so fertile that the trees grow. Well, that's what you want. Paying down your mortgage is a constant drizzle. You just work it. You just work it. You're focused and you can taste financial freedom.
Yeah.
And it does have a taste. Don't let anybody tell you financial freedom has got a taste. Again, I am not saying that money will make you feel like everything. That is not the point. When I talk of the 5 pillars, I talk as money as one of 5. So there are other things, but that financial freedom will give you the choice. When they asked Chris Rock what it was to have financial freedom and all that money, he said the money in itself does not make me feel any better, but it gives me a choice. I'm
Yes.
able to stay at a better hotel. I'm able to eat at a different restaurant. I'm able to make a choice. I can send my child to a better school. I can take better care of myself, my parents. So it's the choices money gives you that matter.
Yes. Yes.
It will not bring you joy. It's up to you. But when you work for something and you put effort into it, like purposely, like, focus, determination, persistent, working to pay that mortgage down, it just makes something happens to you.
But
You walk in the house with your shoulder back and your keys in your hand and you go, wow, we did it. And that is what that matters. So this is the one other way you can do that, is to pay those last 4 digits off.
mm-hmm.
The minimum they will allow you to do is $100, but we sometimes can come up with $100. So if you can come up with the $100, just put it in. You mightn't be able to do it every month, but if you're fortunate enough to have some extra money, put it on the mortgage. The sooner you get that debt over is better. No, I promise I would explain amortization. I talked about good and bad debt. There is 2 debt that is good debt. Every other credit product is a killer. The two debt that is good is what you take to go to school. The student loan, I know everybody hates it, but without it, you wouldn't be in the job you are today. So the student loan, it has a life. It will take you 10 years to pay it, but at the end of 10 years, it dies. So it has an amortization period.
Right.
In the middle of the word, there is the French word to call mort, dead, M-O-R-T. In the French word, that is where that word comes from, amortization. M-O-R-T in the middle means it's dying, it will die. That is when it ends. That is why they'll tell you it takes 20 years to pay. It dies in 20 years. It does not resurrect unless you go and resurrect it. A student loan has an amortization. It dies at the end of 100 years if that's what it's going to take you, but it will die. A credit card and a line of credit, they don't die. They will kill you before you kill them. It's like they are like standing in a hole and digging while you are in the same hole. Eventually, you'll be too deep and you won't be able to come out. You can't climb out of it. When you dig the shovel of dirt and you try to toss it out, it comes right back on you. So amortization dies, and the French word is in the middle of there, and that's where it comes from. Mort, meaning it will die. So that's the period you have with that. So these are the ways you can pay down your mortgage. The thing about a mortgage, make sure it's weekly or bi-weekly. Go for a variable. You will get the option to have a variable rate mortgage if you have good credit. The higher your credit, the more mortgage, more money you will borrow, but you have choices.
Right.
You don't have to take what they push down your throat. Then you pay it down by rounding up your mortgage payments. Then you go further, you pay down the extras on the actual mortgage balance.
Right.
So that 4 digits you're paying off is off your mortgage balance. Your mortgage payment, you round it off to the nearest 0. And then you take the opportunity and you look at it every week. Don't be afraid to face your debt. Don't send negative energy towards the debt. The debt is a passage to a better life. If you can get a mortgage, you are on a way to grow wealth. And that, if you have the ability to own your home, you have an ability to grow wealth.
Right.
So you must do that. So Lisa, I want you a few things you didn't remember, but I hope you pick them up tonight. So tell them about how you're feeling now that all you have is that one amazing debt.
Right? Amazing. Yeah. So, so I remember when I came to you, I was bawling my eyes out with regards to debt because one, I got myself into it and I dug a really deep hole and I didn't know how to get out. But we worked towards it and I got out and that tasted amazing. It still tastes good in my mouth. Um, but now it feels good to know that I've done that or we've done that and I can move on now and focus on the mortgage. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, but never really, I mean, we do the little things that you've mentioned, but we haven't really like honed in on it and looked at mortgage every week. So that's something that we're going to be paying more attention to and being strategic because I'm already tasting that feeling of being mortgage free because I know it's possible, right? But we just have to put in the work to get it done.
What would you like to change if you could? About like if you could, you cannot change anything. But
Well,
if you could, what would you like to change if you could? Or
well, with
what are your different choices would you have made? Because somebody today might be making those choices you did. What can you say to them about the choices you made? What can you ask them? Teach somebody.
well, I mean, at the beginning, I'll speak specifically around mortgage. So when we first got a mortgage, we were obviously in a lot of debt. So the rate we got was horrible. Um, and we didn't have any room to negotiate. It was pretty much whatever the bank said, we just had to go along with them. Fast forward 7 years later, now I'm able to negotiate. They if they tell me you get a fixed rate, I'm like, no, I don't want a fixed rate. I qualify for a variable rate. I want the best rate. And they also like to tell you to make monthly payments. So it's good to know that you can pay biweekly as well, because that makes a huge difference. So it's before I didn't have a clue as to what I was doing, but after meeting with you over the years, now I'm equipped that if I do go for another mortgage, I know exactly what to say, as opposed to just sitting there and just taking whatever uh, they tell me.
So tell me, how can you serve somebody else by giving somebody advice who's out there and wondering about what they can do about the mortgage? Now, I served you, so now this is your turn to serve because I always say, what you learn, you must teach. And
Yes.
when you teach, you serve.
Yes. So I mean the simplest way to do it if you already have a mortgage is to look at the numbers. Pay attention to your numbers. So if for example the smallest thing as if you have some sense behind the numbers, you want to look at rounding it up, right? You may think that doesn't make a huge difference, but it does because that was something I did right away. As soon as you said it, I came home, I told Conrad, and we were like, okay, we got to do this. Um, so it's just doing your homework, finding out exactly what type of mortgage it is that you have. Because I mean, a lot of us have mortgages now, we don't even know what we have because we just feel trapped. That's how I felt at the beginning, right? I didn't have a clue, but I'm like, okay, I own a house. I have to get a mortgage. So whatever the bank does, I'm just going to go along with them and just make the payments without them even letting me know that I can do these little things to bring my balance down. So it's just paying attention and asking questions, right? Like for me, I didn't ask questions before. I got in contact with you and now I call you if I'm not sure what to do. So I think that's also helpful. Instead of just sitting there trying to figure things out on your own, it's always a good idea to ask for help. So that's one of the things that I would suggest people do, because I don't think we do a lot of enough of that in our community.
Certainly not. But the thing about when you go to the bank, like this is what somebody asked me after last week.
Mhm.
And on Thursday night, somebody DM'd me to ask me, why don't I talk about investment? And
Mm.
somebody asked me in the States to hook up with something with investment. And I said yes, but I reluctantly, when I looked at the setup, I said no. I wouldn't be doing. I don't want to do investment because my idea for doing what I do is because there's a lot more investment specialists than there are people that will nurture you, that will serve you, that will help you, that will encourage you, that will push you, that will give you the wisdom and the knowledge for you to go in and negotiate for yourself.
Yes.
So what I prefer to do, and I'm answering that so nobody calls me and asks me about investing. No. I would prepare you to go to get investment. I would prepare you to manage your money. So at first I bring you to financial health. So I get you what I did with you guys. I got you to fix your credit products and get rid of them. They weren't helping you.
No.
So you like your financial health was sick. So we brought it up to a healthy financial city, healthy. And then we took your mortgage and we're making you wealth. So what I prefer to do, and that's what I enjoy doing, is enabling you to become financially wealthy.
Wealthy, yeah.
But you cannot become financially wealthy if you owe a lot of money to others. In the Bible, it tells you the borrower is a slave to the lender.
Yeah.
So there you go. And it's true. Because when you get paid, the first thing that you have to think about is all the bills you need to get paid. There's no financial freedom there. So I prefer to see the smile on your face, the joy in your heart, the freedom, the attitude in your step, that I am in charge. So I will not teach investment. I did it for years for myself, and I had to do it. That was my job. But I looked and I saw there was a bigger need for me as a financial planner to teach you how to get to the water, get to the fountain of money and sit there. So what I do at the end of all of my teachings with one, I prepare you now to go and talk to a broker or an investment specialist because
Right.
you understand stuff and you haven't got the debt. So this is what I do. So even if I talk about investment and making money and stocks and bonds and all of that stuff, that's not what I want to do. I prefer, again, to help you get solvent, to help you manage your money, to see the smile I see on your face. And I had Kathleen last week, and Kathleen is just fired up. And she's been doing this for 20 years, according to her, but I don't think so. She's too young for that. But the thing about it is that financial health is the first step you have to find. Because if you don't have financial health, you will crumble and you will just, things won't work for you.
Right.
So I will teach financial health and I'll teach you how to get out of debt, all of you, any of you. But I won't do investments because there are more people doing investment. I just had a lady last week who told me somebody told her she wanted to talk to a planner. And the planner was more interested in investing for her, helping her to get out of debt. And she said, I have student loans, I have all sorts of things. So then she spoke to someone at her church who met me and told her to call me. So we did a Zoom call and I went over her finances with her. But I can see the planner wants you to give them money to invest. But if you have no money to invest, you cannot invest.
Exactly.
So they don't have the time to nurture you.
Yeah.
I do. They don't, that is not their job. That is not their reason. That's not their purpose for being here on earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's mine. So they want to invest for you. You make money, they make some, the bank make more, your investment, everybody makes money. You get the list, but you still make some. Now, my job is to make sure you get to that point sooner or later. But right now, I want to fix you. So that's what I do. So Lisa.
And you're great at it.
Oh, thank you.
You teach the fundamentals, right? I mean, you're good at numbers, and I sit there and I'm like, okay, I agree with you. Meanwhile, I don't even know what you're doing.
I don't know why you guys say that because I can do all of my math in my mind. Still, like I just go crazy. Numbers are like, I see numbers like somebody sees candy who has an addiction to sweets. I see numbers like an addiction. I just love numbers. I can dance with them. And it's so easy. But I do teach you guys how to do the basic. I teach you how to divide with a calculator and how to multiply.
Yeah.
you know. So it's like I went to see a broker. I had to talk to him about some investment, and I said to him, I want to use your fidgeting for calculator. I said, you know what, this is the number. And he said, oh, I forgot. You and your brain. And he's looking at me. He said, I forgot about it. I should just ask you to do it. I said, I don't want to do it. That's why I have you do it.
Right.
You know?
But
So,
so good.
but I do teach you how to find your numbers. That is
You-
something you will always learn.
Yeah.
And you know, I coach Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So anybody that wants to coach on finance, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I will talk about something in finance. I'll choose a topic and I will discuss it. But if you want coaching, like Lisa, you want to ask me some questions, or you come with a list of questions on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I'll coach you. You don't have to put your numbers out there, but you can tell me what to do, your interest rates, and we talked about credit card last Thursday. So if you have any questions on that, I'd be happy to help you. So Lisa, thank you so much. We had a wonderful time. And you were okay?
Yes, everything else is wonderful. And this was helpful. Hopefully it can help somebody else as well.
I hope so.
Because mortgages are a big deal now. I mean, it's always been a big deal, but even so now. So it would be nice if people are able to hear and to realize that there's a better way to do it.
No, there is no better way to try to do it. I mean, it's a very good way, because if you don't own a home, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. And you don't have to buy a house like a house. You can buy a condo. A condo is where you can start these days. And don't be afraid to buy a condo. And maybe I should mention that. I think on Thursday night, I'll talk about that. I will leave the condo versus a house on Thursday night.
Okay.
And I'll bring that up. But tomorrow, I think I have Yoko and I have somebody else, but I don't think it's finance. I don't know what they're going to talk to me. But if I get a chance, call me and I will leave a spot for you Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And we'll talk about your financial needs. You can ask me some questions. You don't have to give me your true numbers. You don't have to tell me. But you can make a story and I'll help you with it. So sending you a wonderful evening, light and joy. I love sending that to everyone. And tomorrow morning at 8, I will be doing my blessings. So have fun, everyone. And thank you so much, all of you, all the movement makers. Rosie is there, Tika Lamar is there, and all of you who came, and Susie, and all of you guys who came to Dawn, and Gavin, Shirley Dilly, and Corinne, and Rye Makes You Cry, and Fusion, and everybody else. And thank you so much. And I want to say thanks for your insight. Thank you so much. I hope it helps you. Or if it doesn't, if you can share it, share it. What you learned tonight, share it. Yeah. And if you're not sure, DM me on Instagram, Tessa-Marie Morning Blessings, and I will answer it. Bye, Dawn. Call sometime. I called, you didn't answer. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful evening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.